My mom said no gauges. Oh, Zed World has to be.
Is that a problem? Do you not like them? I kind of dig them. I'm stopping it at about 5 millimeters.
I think that's my favorite part of this tournament is like actually finding a ton of good bands.
We're wondering who Follow Chuck is. Hey Ryan.
There's no black and white in this conversation. Everything is turning gray.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of the Zero Sum Album Tournament Challenge with your host, with the NAS on the end.
So you guys want to dive right in?
Let's go for it.
Yeah,
So,
why not?
Yeah, so last week we had our first round. We're doing round 1, the very first battle. We had Kezia by Protest the Hero versus
Kezia. Kezia.
Because I knew he was one of those, man. So we got Kezia by Protest the Hero versus Rhythm, Chord, and Melody by Reign of Kindo. So how about we just go around and...
Yeah, initial thoughts.
So, just to clarify, are we going to just talk about the album briefly before we say which one we think should move on? Or
Yeah, let's just talk about it right now. Yeah.
So round table, and then at the end of it, kind of move on.
Yeah, because like we don't know if any of us are kind of like on the edge, like leaning one way or the other, and maybe somebody else might be able to persuade someone one way or the other. So, all right. So who wants to start?
I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right. So I've only listened to this album one time through. Should have listened to it right before here, but I got some good notes here. I thought Divinity Within had a great breakdown. Now that was the first song off the album, right?
No, Stars Over Bethlehem was the first. I think Divinity Within is number 2.
No, Heretics and Killers.
3. Yeah, Heretics and Killers is number 2. Divinity Within is 3.
Yeah. Okay. So that's when the album really started to catch my attention. Bury the Hatchet. I thought it had a very interesting outro. You guys know what I'm talking about with that fade out.
Yeah.
I think it's like we got that, Blindfolds Aside. This is where it really started to grab my attention even more.
That was my favorite.
I love the bridge's vocals and the build-up into the part after the bridge. The outro was very nice with the acoustic and the female harmonies. And Protest the Hero doesn't have a female in the band. I was kind of curious who that was. I forgot her name, but apparently she's a country artist.
She's been featured on, I think, all of their albums. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that. Turn Soonest to the
features on them that aren't explicitly listed, whether it's instrumental or vocals. Because I know Propaganda's bassist was on the newest album for a song or two.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we can talk about their lineup switches.
Yeah, well, that's not
another time, but yeah. So Kezia was the first and maybe most genuine iteration of the band.
Another video. Turn Soonest to the Sea. This was my favorite song off the album. I thought the vocals were great. The lyrics were really good. Not saying that the others weren't, but I thought the topic of the lyrics was very intriguing and importance, and I thought I could also really pick out the different parts of the song on this one. The other songs, it seemed like it was just the album was so complex, which I praise Protest the Hero for. I'm not used to listening to that sort of stuff, but the line in particular I was talking about was "Your flesh means more than you."
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. That's a good fucking line.
Seemed like it started off pretty heavy, then it kind of got more punky, more simplistic. It started like complex, more simplistic.
We talked with Max briefly about how Protest is kind of like, I mean, they're very much prog metal, but they've got a very punk base. And if you even look into their history, it was when they first started, they were a punk rock band. And I don't release anything because Kezia was their first album. Maybe they played some shows or something with straight up punk rock, but they went way more complex. Like pretty simple.
But you can still pick out the punk elements.
There's definitely a huge influence, especially with like the rhythm guitars. Yeah, as far as prog bands go, they're pretty punky. But as far as punk bands go, they're not the punkiest. They're super heavy. Compared to punk bands.
They really blend the metal and punk kind of stuff really, really well.
And building off of what Drew was talking about, I think Blindfolds Aside might be my favorite song off the album, personally. Divinity Within is really good. So is Bury the Hatchet, which Drew also mentioned. But
so me being the over-analytical kind of anal person that I am, I've got a note sheet like this for every album that we did. And so jumping onto what you guys said, Blindfolds Aside is the only song out of both Rhythm, Chord, and Melody and Kezia that I gave a 10 out of 10. It is just, I mean, it's like basically a perfect song. But Divinity Within, I think it's really interesting that you guys like it so much, because my note was it all runs together, feels a bit uninspired, but at 2:40 they build up to this like great outro that like that kind of pulls the song together. But like the vocals for that song really kind of are a little lackluster for me. I think Heretics and Killers there's one little part that I need to talk about. The outro has this combating like guitar lines that transition from 16th note sweeps to triplet like down sweeps, and they like alternate like based on the left or right ear, like which one's happening at which time. And the fact that they got that to sound good, like it has always blown my mind. It's just one of the most weird, like complex musical things I've ever like heard. I was about to say seen, but you don't watch that. But it's just like Heretics and Killers is the only song off this album I ever learned how to play. And that part still blows my mind that was ever like, you sweep up on 16ths and come down on triplets. And just, it takes such precision to get that done. Divine Suicide of K is also top notch. I love how like punky the verse is, but then the chorus is like very chanty, and like it's just kind of, I think it brings the whole album together really well. All in all, I love this album. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
You love this album, so you gave it a 6.5.
This is a hard competition, Marty. It's all of our top 20s, you know?
It is, yeah.
One thing that I did want to mention, kind of before we started this talk, but Drew and I talked on the phone a couple days ago. Was that just yesterday? Shit, time doesn't exist after COVID.
Yeah, it was.
But like, I made a comment that I think should be said for all of this, is that we all picked these albums for very specific reasons, and being in a band together, like, to work to understand why this album is on any of our top 20 list just means that you're like respecting each other, like each member of the band, a lot more as well. And so that moving forward, that's something that also should be kept in mind. Like, why did Zach put Diablo Swing Orchestra in the next round or the third round, you know? All right, Marty, give us your Kezia shit.
All right. So, yeah, Kezia was my pick. I'm a little embarrassed because I clearly don't know it as in-depth as you.
He's just gonna blow us all out of the water. He's gonna
like you're gonna teach me about my own music here.
Sweet, I'm a music addict. It's
you
what
are
I'm here for. So.
Well,
Why'd you just turn blue? I
don't know.
This is so odd.
I like it.
It is an old laptop, so
it's almost like there's like light streak lines on the words on your.
Nope, even worse. I am making it so much worse right now. All right. Kezia, it's a very good mix to me of prog and metalcore, which are probably my two favorite genres. Protests, it has like the punk roots, which translates, like when mixed with metal, it translates into metalcore, and they add the prog to it.
If I can interrupt briefly, that's 100% what it is. I'm not trying to interrupt a lot. I just wanted to build off of the fact that metalcore really is one of the more arguably one of the punker genres of metal. So
Well, yeah, because I mean, metalcore, it's like it formed with hardcore. Like hardcore bands started incorporating metal.
And obviously hardcore started from punk. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just a sucker for a nice breakdown, and Turn Soonest to the Sea has a primo one. Divine Suicide of K is number 3. Yeah, I think as Max said, it ties the album together really, really well. And I really like the female vocals in it. It just all blends very well. My biggest gripe with the album would be that Plateful of Our Dead is probably my least favorite song, and I don't like having like a weaker song at the back of the album.
I had 2 notes. It was proggy grooves all day. Because the first minute and a half of the song is just like, all right, sweet. But then solid outro, but it doesn't feel like it's the end of the album.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's just like a weird kind of sad way to end it.
Yeah, and like when I'm listening to the album all the way through, like it'll end, and I won't even realize until like No Stars Over Bethlehem starts again.
No, and I agree with that to an extent. Like I'd have to re-listen to Plateful of Our Dead because honestly, I don't normally when I listen to this album finish it all the way through. I'll go about halfway. I'll go to like Turn Soonest to the Sea, generally speaking.
That is 8 songs.
Yeah, there's one more really good song after.
Yeah, you have 2 songs after that, man.
And speaking of that, I actually thought it was kind of interesting that Max and Marty, you both had Divine Suicide of K as one of your top 3 songs on the album. But then me and Drew both had Divinity Within as the top 3. And I think that just might be the 2 of us not being quite as into prog metal as you are.
Yeah, probably.
To an extent, like it's
In an effort to not meander too long, let's move on to the challenger. Rhythm, chord, and melody.
I'm holding on for dear life. There will through the good times after crawling through the strife.
I thought it was pretty good as far as like writing goes, and I don't know. I wasn't particularly a huge fan of the album. It was a little too not that chill is bad, but it was a little too jazzy for me for a lot of it. Kindo shirt on, and I'm sorry, Kindo, your album is good, and I really respect the songwriting in it. And there's so much good guitar work, so much good vocal work, especially, honestly.
There's a lot of really good drum work too.
Well,
Yes, there was.
It's just kind of like played back, but that's jazz. It's like it's just a lot of elements that are complementing each other. But continue.
To music, I don't listen to drums, like how complex drums are. I don't entirely know.
Wait, so did you not pick up on the bass then?
Yeah, the bass is pretty good. I mean, everything. Honestly, instrumentally, Reign of Kindo, very fucking good. Like they definitely know their instruments. It was a whole. Personally, liked Kezia better.
Well, we know where Zach stands.
I was very pleasantly surprised by Rhythm, Chord, and Melody. Like I had absolutely like no biases going into this. I had like never even heard of Reign of Kindo. Never heard anything off this album. I was honestly like blown away by it. I wouldn't say like I've been like a huge fan of jazz, but like I've always like found it interesting, like found it nice to listen to. The vocals were very soothing, very nice. And as the drummer, like I was like, it's always what my ear goes to first. And the drums were like very technical, as a lot of jazz drums are. My favorite would probably be Mystery of Our Day. And I liked Breathe Again and Nice to Meet You.
So if I could jump back in, because I tried to get in before Marty started, but I actually wanted to point out the song's Great Blue Sea. I thought was very good. Same with Breathe Again. Breathe Again was the first one. So Moments in Between was good, but like it did. I know Max is giving me some shit right now. I liked Moments in Between, but Breathe Again is when I started to like actually like vibe with the album a little bit more. And I know just based on your facial expressions, I would
I don't
love
think he's a fan of Breathe Again.
on that when you edit the video because you look ridiculous. I really liked Breathe Again. I really liked Rick Lucy, and yeah, Nice to Meet You. And I want to say Till We Make Our Ascent was another one, but I have to re-listen.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to re-listen to it.
Yeah.
Got a lot of comments coming your guys' way.
Okay. All right.
Drew, go.
I wasn't finished.
Oh, sorry, Marty.
I thought you were finished, so I'm sorry for cutting.
You're good. I would say my biggest complaint would be snare tone. Snare tone kind of hit flat for me.
Yep.
Like not Saint Anger flat, but that being said, like my next big like album buy, I think I am gonna include Rhythm, Chord, and Melody in it.
You can get the Rhythm, Chord, and Melody. They're pressing that for the first time on vinyl right now. And I've been waiting since 2009 for this. So I'm really interested. Like, I love you both. I love all of you. But Drew, I'm really interested to see what you have to say about this.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't a big fan of it.
Wow.
Here's a couple good points though from it. I got big Radiohead vibes.
Okay.
Especially the first song on the album. I was just like, wow, this sounds like Radiohead. Okay, Computer. Very jazzy.
Yeah.
Good album. I'm surprised that's not on the tournament, man.
Oh, okay.
Radiohead.
So very jazzy, groovy, chill sort of album band. I haven't listened to more of them, but that's what I got from them.
Their other albums have I can give you like individual songs off the other albums, but there's just nothing they've put out that's as consistently good as this one.
I thought Great Blue Sea into Let It Go. Let It Go is my favorite off the album.
Nice.
They just flowed into each other so well.
Mm-hmm.
Super catchy chorus on Let It Go.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I mean, if I had to put a number on it, I'd probably go like 6 out of 10.
Well, that's only a
Out of
half
10.
point below my Kezia's.
Yeah.
That's pretty good,
You
dude.
got hard rankings.
I think we have different scales because you have a 6.5 and you said you love it.
I love
And you have a
Kezia.
6. You have a 6 and you say you're not a fan. So
I think we need to
we need to standardize this.
you two are obviously operating on different scales, and I want to figure it out by next week.
Let me plow through this real quick because
I mean, you have 10 minutes.
I love this album so much. The lowest, well, okay. Breathe Again, I gave a 2 out of 10.
Wow.
That is my least favorite song, probably exists on this entire bracket.
Wow.
I mean, I actually really liked that song. It was
Dude, the lyrics are stupid as fuck. It's about
Yeah, that's why I
murdering-
liked it.
It's about a dude that's like murdering a guy that stole Christmas presents. Like, what is that? I never liked that song. The first time I heard it, so Moments in Between is such an incredible opener. Like the way that it builds slowly and like kind of introduces you to all the different like instruments that will be existent throughout the album. And then it just explodes at like 1:55 or like 2 minutes in, with that like little kind of dip into just vocals and a piano, like right before it like all comes in and hits. Like that song is incredible. And then Breathe Again's just like stupid lyrics out the wazoo, and then everything else is just smooth jazz behind it. And I just like, if you're gonna come in with a blowout song first on the album, you don't follow that up with like the shittiest song on the album. I know
Shatters
you
your
guys,
expectations.
oh. But then they followed up with Great Blue Sea, which is also, or that's a 9 out of 10. Because I love this song so much. The vocal harmonies are incredible. The way that they do like a little key shift halfway through the verse, just to kind of like delineate between like the kind of peaceful like floating along and like the allusion towards like drowning. It's just almost a perfect song. And Let It Go, fantastic. I think like that I wrote Sunday Morning Smooth. Like that's the go-to. Like if you wake up with a hangover, you put on Let It Go and everything's gonna be chill. And then Nice to Meet You. And it's just kind of like the after it's over till we make our ascent. I just wrote drums in all caps. Rhythm, Chord, and Melody, I think, is a really, really great break. Morning Cloud, I just think that opening riff is just so, they nailed that. But Holdout is such a great way to close the album. The drum intro is incredible. The lyrics are fantastic. And it just builds into like a ton of energy that really kind of wraps up the album in a great way because there's a lot of peaks and valleys that happen throughout this whole album. I gotta put my vote towards Rhythm, Chord, and Melody.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go Kezia.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Kezia.
Yeah.
I also have to go Kezia.
That's understandable.
I wanna thank. I mean, if anyone from Reign of Kindo eventually sees this or something, I want to thank them for putting the thing on their story on Instagram.
Yeah, that's super cool.
They did. They featured us on their story, and you know, mad respect.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. I'm gonna like explore their catalog a little more because I liked Rhythm, Chord, and Melody a lot.
I just want to say one more thing with Rhythm, Chord, and Melody. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I don't think the band stinks by any means, and I'll definitely explore more of their material.
You should check out Nightingale and Feeling in the Night. Those two songs are amazing off of separate albums. Also, everything that they put out is all produced, like recorded and produced by the lead guitarist and singer. So
cool.
It's all like a DIY project as well. Yeah. So mad respect for that. Kezia is moving on to the next round. Yeah.
Yes, it faces American Idiots.
that's gonna be an interesting round, to be honest. I don't know what I'm gonna vote for because I like both albums a lot. I'm gonna have to actually listen very intently on both of those to figure out which one's actually a better album.
Okay, so then we got Habits by Elephant Tree and Plans by Deathcab. Both of these my albums, and you guys have to pick one, so this is going to be fun.
Based off of this, I won't go into it now, but I have a very definitive answer on this one.
As do I.
I think I do too. Let's start. Habits was first, so let's discuss that.
Habits. Heavy band. Not like a metal sort of band, but just like it was slow, dark, doomy.
Doom is the correct word.
I saw when I looked them up, stoner metal.
Yes,
Okay,
stoner doom.
Totally see that.
Yep.
Psych rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
Very psychedelic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Heavy band. I love their style a lot.
Sweet.
I don't know why I didn't take a lot of notes off it, but Bird was my favorite off the album. I thought the chorus I put down, amazing stuff.
Yeah. Especially coming out of the fall chorus, like just the acoustic and vocal track, and then it goes into Bird, like bam, right in the face. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like I've heard that before. Have you played that?
Probably. Okay. Yeah. I love that song a lot.
Uh-huh. Overall, I thought it was very good. Great record.
That's kind of surprising, honestly.
Great record.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That makes me really happy to hear. Marty, Zach.
So I agree that Bird was also my favorite.
Yeah.
Also, I liked the fall chorus right before it a lot too. That being said, I felt like, as with a lot of doom bands, a lot of the songs just kind of ran together. They didn't have like a lot of uniqueness to me, I guess. It's not something that I think I could like listen intently to. Like, it's a nice thing to have on, like if I'm doing something, I could throw it on or something.
I don't want to like put them down low as like a background noise band. that's not what I mean, but like just
kind of
like,
what-
if you're chilling, you know, having some drinks with the guys, have it on in the
Mhm.
background. It's a great vibe it gives
Yeah.
off.
Which is weird because it's like a very heavy album as well. But like the fact that they make it so
Low, though.
accessible.
It's like a
Yeah.
slow heavy. It's not like
It's heavy. Yeah, like it's heavy, but it's clean.
Mm-hmm. I think the vocals do a lot of work for it because the vocals
Yes, I agree.
really good.
As a whole, of the 4 albums we listened to, this is by far my least favorite. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry, Elephant Tree, but this was. I did not enjoy listening to this album.
Fair.
If I'm completely honest, like I was listening to it and I tried multiple times for multiple songs to get like into it. It's like it's stoner metal, but I couldn't do it. I don't know. It's not for me. I personally do not enjoy it.
All right, and so here's why you're wrong, Zach.
Okay, yeah, hit me.
All right, so their ability to lock into one thing and groove on it, and even though it doesn't really even change over like a minute of like playtime, the fact that it doesn't feel overdone and overplayed throughout the entire riff, and then they can still come back to it multiple times, like they do in Sales, or Faceless does that a lot, and Broken Nails is basically like two riffs the entire 7-minute song. Like the reason they made it onto this list is because I wanted to force sort of like a masterclass in simplistic songwriting into my top 20, because I mean, I'm sure everybody's got different, I know everybody has different tastes, but when you have 8 songs on an album and probably like those 8 songs share 20 riffs or less, like you need to make those work. And I just thought having that kind of influence, really introducing you guys to something where like it's okay to get into a pocket and groove on that for a while, was more the intention. I don't expect Elephant Tree to make it far at all, you know, like, but I love this album because it's such a departure from what I usually listen to, because I love complexity. But there's something about, I think a lot of it's the tone in like the guitar, the bass, the vocal, like everything. Like the way the sounds work together really do make this like complete holistic, simple kind of just grungy groove the whole time. Another thing that should be noted, and I don't know if this changes anybody's opinion, but this album was written for like, or was crafted to be listened to on vinyl. So you listen to the first 4 songs and then flip the record, and then it comes in with the fall chorus. And so it's like this whole process of like needing to get out of your seat, flip the record over, you put the needle on, and then it starts with this beautiful acoustic thing. And you're like, okay, after 20 minutes of this relentless grungy like distortion in your ears, you get back into like this really pretty acoustic thing. And then eventually Bird comes in, and fall chorus transitions to Bird really, really well. It kind of like meanders in this ambience, and then you just hear like this vocal track come on top, and before you know it, like the whole song is just punching you in the face. I think that was number 20 on my list. So, you know, I like it. And then Plans by Deathcab. Let's go.
All right. So it kind of surprised me that Deathcab for Cutie would make your top 20, because like
I love this album a lot. But,
okay,
yeah.
like no, like I'm not trying to shame you or anything for that. Like I enjoyed Plans more than I expected I would. Like
Yeah.
it's like poppier than it's just poppier than something I'd expect out of you.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
So my favorites off the album, looking back at it, Marching Bands of Manhattan, Soul Meets Body, and Crooked Teeth. Like I've heard of Deathcab for Cutie before. Like I knew some of their songs already, so I already had like a little bit of like experience going into it. The downfall for me though is that a lot of it also kind of starts to run together to me. Deathcab for Cutie and Weezer could be the same band for me. Maybe not Weezer.
Interesting.
Maybe not Weezer, but like in the same vein.
All right.
No, yeah, I can see that.
Really quick, Marty, thoughts on the drum beat from Brothers on a Hotel Bed? You pay attention to that?
I did actually.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna comment on that soon. Brothers on a Hotel Bed. I also liked a lot. Because I like the drums did draw me in.
It's such a cool beat. It's really unique.
I would have to listen to it more to get like a more concrete opinion. I'll take actual notes next time.
Yeah, I didn't take actual notes either. However, Marching Bands of Manhattan, Soul Meets Body, Someday You Will Be Loved, and Crooked Teeth were the songs that stuck out to me. I actually really liked Someday You Will Be Loved. It was a very cheesy, very poppy song, but I liked it a lot. I don't know. Something about it stuck out to me. And I very much enjoyed this album, to be honest. It was the whole way through super chill.
Mm-hmm.
And I do agree with what Marty was saying. Some of it does blend together. There are songs that are better than others, but there aren't any like faster parts or darker parts. It's all very chill and very down low. I don't know.
I would use the word melancholy to describe the entire album. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy
melancholic. Yeah.
The album is written well, and I enjoyed a decent number of songs off of it, like a lot. So I've never really listened to Deathcab for Cutie for like ever, but I might start to get into their backlog. Because
really cool. I'll throw this at you then. Codes and Keys is also great. And Narrow Stairs, I tried to decide between Plans and Narrow Stairs for which one would make my top 20.
Okay.
Narrow Stairs is also fantastic. So
because this is pretty good. I enjoyed this one.
No, Deathcab's a surprise. Like, I think a lot of people kind of get turned off by them because it sounds kind of like middle school goth girl kind of shit, you know? Like when you hear Deathcab for Cutie, you're like, I'm pretty sure my little sister listens to them. And like there's a lot going on in the music. It's really great. Mm-hmm. Drew, I'm gonna go turn on another light, but I want to hear what you gotta say.
You know, it was melancholic, like indie emo.
Yeah.
It felt very emo.
Mm-hmm.
It is very emo.
Yeah.
What do you want from me?
I like. And what's interesting too is, I mean, this album's got to be great. I've only listened to it once, but the last song on the album I just checked, 5 million plays. Everything else is more than that. Yeah. Pretty big album. And you said it won like a Grammy?
It was nominated for 2 Grammys and went platinum in 2008.
Yeah.
Which is 1 million sales. So
yeah. I definitely want to listen to this a couple more times, whether or not it advances, just to see if it grows on me.
Yeah.
Although, I like I said, I thought it was a good album. South Meets Body was a phenomenal song.
Soul Meets Body.
Okay, I got South on there. Typo. That doesn't
make Soul makes a little more sense.
Yeah. And so I listened to every song once, but I Will Follow You Into the Dark. Probably play that 4 or 5 times. Just wow, I got to listen to that.
Right. Have you ever heard that song before?
No.
Really, dude? Okay, so when my freshman year at college, like that was the go-to. Like any fucking douchebag with an acoustic guitar would slap his capo on fret number 5 and be like, play fucking A minor to B minor. It's like, okay, everybody knows this song. So it's amazing that you haven't heard that before. Well, then I'm gonna just jump in and say all of your guys' favorite songs are not my favorite songs. So I guess there's a lot. This album has a lot to give. What Sarah said is my number 1 favorite song on this album.
Really? Okay.
I think like the lyricism and like the way that they poetically just kind of build this whole like the person you love is basically on her deathbed and all you really have like guaranteed in love is like watching somebody else die. Like it's emo, it's dark, it's horrible. I love that so much because it's so real. But like, so why didn't you like that?
I'll give you that. Lyricism for the song was good. I did not like the song as a whole, though. I don't know. I thought it was boring for the most part.
Yeah, that's fair.
Speaking, it kind of just felt like I was listening to a song that should have been 3 minutes, but I was listening to it for 6 minutes. Like,
yeah, that's okay. I get that. So overall, what I go to Deathcab for is the lyrics, and there's not a lot of other bands that I listen to for like true poeticism. Like Protest the Hero, their lyrics are kind of shit most of the time. Like
A little bit, yeah.
Especially so. Oh, really quick, touching on their lineup. So Kezia, really fast. Kezia is the original 5 members. Fortress, original 5 members. Then Scurrilous, the bassist, left, who Arif used to write all of their lyrics. And so Scurrilous takes this massive shift of like roadie just bullshitting. Like, I mean, some songs are really like, you don't listen to it for the lyrics, but the guitar work is always top notch. And then thereafter, they lost the drummer after Scurrilous and have like replaced, their members.
Well, Chris Adler was there for Volition.
Yeah, he was. Mastermind, dude.
I know that one.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's almost like poetry set to music.
okay.
And so that's what I get out of Deathcab. But so what Sarah said is my number 1 favorite song. Brothers on a Hotel Bed is number 2. I would recommend putting that song on at like 11 p.m. while you're driving around with no purpose. Like, it is just the chillest song to groove to, late night vibe. It's incredible. And obviously, I like everything else. Crooked Teeth, I think, is a very underrated song.
I feel like we all like that song. So
Did we? Oh,
Yeah. I think so.
I'd have to listen to it again. Yeah, I'm not familiar off the top of my head with that one and what Sarah said.
mhm.
I just wrote some notes, so I'm going to listen to them after this.
Cool. And then, so like, I was actually talking to Ryan, but the song Your Heart is an Empty Room, that's the only one I can't remember off the top of my head what that sounds like. So, I mean, that's like, a testament for how unique each of these songs are, even though they do all kind of like flow together and have the same vibe.
I think that makes an album good, though, if
Mhm.
they all flow together. It kind of
Yeah,
blend
definitely.
into like one story.
Mhm.
Between being like individual and flowing together that makes an album good. Because if things are too far apart going song to song, it just doesn't feel like a good album. But if it flows together too much as well, then it's just all the same song and it's not fun to listen to.
Yeah, there's definitely a degree.
Yeah. It's like one band that does this really, really well is Dynamite Thunder Punch.
I watched you guys in Columbus while I was still at Ohio State. So
Yeah, it's been a minute. My vote is for Plans.
Plans.
Habits.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love you, Drew. Dude, actually, that's awesome. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, I'm bummed, man. I mean,
That was
I
unexpected.
thought I was gonna go number 2.
Take unanimous on that. Not to hate on Elephantry again, but I feel like Habits is just there's not as nearly as much going on.
There's some level of complexity, I think, that we're all looking for.
Mhm.
But I love that you loved Habits, because, I mean, obviously I like it too, Drew. So,
You put it on your top.
so much love, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Do we want to introduce next week's 4 albums?
Drew's got a lot coming up.
Drew has 3. I have 1.
True Blue by Madonna.
Papa don't preach, I've been lonely. Papa don't preach, I've been losing sleep. But I made up my mind, I'm keeping my baby.
She co-wrote and produced the entire album. I think she pretty much writes all of her own songs. A lot of pop artists don't.
Yeah.
kind of like country. They'll use other songs, which I don't really agree with. I think if you're gonna play music, you gotta. So this album, it was an immediate global success, reached #1 in a record-breaking 28 countries, spent 34 weeks at the top of the European Top 100 albums charts, longer than any other album in history. It's the
All right.
world's top-selling album of 1986. Best-selling album of the 1980s by a female artist.
Hey, and you said 1986?
Yeah.
That's interesting because that is the year Master of Puppets came out.
Wow.
Oh,
That's.
So Madonna crushed Metallica. Let's talk about
It might have been. It might have been close. And it remains one of the best-selling albums of all time.
Really quick, in the chat, we got Madonna. Now you're talking. 1986, good year. What a good year, man.
It was awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's a fantastic album. I'll just say that. If you don't like pop, I'm sure there's gonna be a song at least off it that you'll like.
I mean, if I could get into Charlie XCX, I'm probably down for Madonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madonna's way better. So.
Shit. Yeah, she was the bottom of
Madonna's
your
a
list,
legend, dude.
though. Yeah.
She's like
All right.
just turned 62. She's still going at it.
Damn.
And then the next album, We Are Born by Sia.
Just me and you. We made it through the darkness to the light.
She's Australian.
Really quick. So yeah, the two challenges in this next round are We Are Born by Sia versus True Blue by Madonna.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
And this album was influenced by Madonna.
Oh, is
Pretty
that
much
Okay.
every pop album artist. It reached number 37 on the American Billboard Top 200 album charts. And this album, this is what I'd call a party album. It's fun, it's upbeat, it's happy, just makes you want to have a good time, puts you in a good mood. So yeah, I'm excited for you guys to check them out. What's the next battle? Pure Hero.
Pure Heroine versus Ghost Reveries.
Okay.
Opeth versus Lorde is
Yes.
Yeah. So this is her first album, and if I'm not mistaken, she was 16 when she wrote this.
Dancing around the lies we tell, dancing around big eyes as well. Even the comatose, they don't dance and tell. We live in cities you'll never see on screen.
It was a Grammy nomination. Debuted at number 3 on the U.S. Billboard 200 chart. Went platinum in the UK, double platinum in Canada, triple platinum in Australia and the U.S. And this is a cool quote I got from some on Wikipedia. According to Clash Music, the popularity of Pure Heroine suggests all is not lost. It says there's still an intellectual, polished, and important place for pop that doesn't rely on open letters, open legs, Twitter, twerking, and obscenely desperate electro hooks. David Bowie
Right.
called her future of music, and David Grohl saw her as revolutionary.
All right. Ghost Reveries by Opeth. Extremely different from those last 3 albums. Opeth is a Swedish band. They are progressive death, to be more specific. Yeah, they're prog death. Ghost Reveries came out in 2005. Among fans, it's between that and Blackwater Park from 2001, which are typically cited as fan favorites. It was honestly a tough choice for me because I like Blackwater Park a lot too, but I had to pick Ghost Reveries. Ghost Reveries, it has a really good mix of very harsh songs, and then there's like 3 or 4 songs on it that are like very soft and melodic, no harsh vocals at all, which I think is pretty interesting. Yeah, Loudwire magazine gave it on its top 20 or top 100 albums of the 21st century. They gave it number 3.
Oh damn. Okay.
And the two ahead of it were also coincidentally in my top 20.
What were they? Just curious.
Toxicity at number 2 and Lateralis at number 1.
Okay. I'm
Already bringing in the big guns.
Both of them from 2001.
I could see them being top albums for general people in the 2000s.
General, yeah, because Marty's a general dude, you know.
No,
Interestingly enough, I was looking through that top 100 list, and out of the 13 albums on my list that could qualify for it, a lot of them are on it. So I just thought that was interesting.
well, maybe Marty has the best taste in music out of all.
I was about to say that. Yeah, you got good taste.
It's Loudwire though,
Yeah.
so that's kind of implied.
Based on Loudwire recording it, that it was hard rock stuff, hard rock and metal.
Number 3 is pretty good though.
Number 3 is very high. Ghost Reveries is a kick-ass album.
It is.
Michael Ackerfeld is an incredible vocalist. He has very good growls, and he has like a very nice clean voice as well. So I think I'm very interested as to what your guys' opinion would be.
Honestly, cannot say that I've ever listened to Opeth, so I'm honestly excited to listen.
For this.
Oh man, and the Bang of the Hounds, so fucking good too.
My top ones would definitely be Ghost of Perdition and Grand Conjuration.
Wait, Marty, what are these? 11 minutes? 10-minute songs?
Welcome to Prog Metal, dude.
Yeah, welcome to Prog, man.
Yeah, dude.
Just wait till we
Yeah,
get
no
to
wonder it's an 8-song album.
just wait till we get to Great Misdirect.
One thing that I want to stress for this next round, especially given that there's 3 pop albums that I would never have listened to if it wasn't for Drew. I'm gonna lay down in my bed and close my eyes and listen to these all the way through and not do anything else. Like just get into the music, focus on it, and try to understand what Drew loves about these albums so much. And you guys should do the same, like to some extent. Maybe not.
That's what I'm trying to do as well. Just kind of listen to all of these albums without any bias whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
But also, when you just sit down and listen to the whole thing, I think that's when you can actually like vibe with it, regardless what it is. Like, I don't know, just
You start to digest it.
where I'm playing a game or something. But
Yeah.
Right.
None of these should be background noise.
because it's a shame to pass up anything on this bracket.
All right, so we've got about 4 minutes left, and we've been waiting. We said last time that we all got together that we were going to make some band announcements. So, do you guys know what those announcements are?
I think we're going to release some music.
We are releasing some.
I think that's what it is.
Like that's
So
I'm out of the loop apparently.
let me start with my little brother is a music producer out in LA now. Pretty great at what he does, and he is putting together our first single that we're going to drop, I think, within the next month. That seems pretty reasonable.
the next month, yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of play around with music production on my own. We have an entire EP recorded, just trying to get it all together, cleaned up, really, really good, something that we can be proud of that we put out. So within the next 6 weeks, we're going to have 6 songs out for you guys, and we're going to be a real band finally.
I know.
Yeah. And then after that, we have a full album written that we need to start recording.
We do, yeah. What's wild, like, we've had these songs boiling for so long, and it's just been a matter of recording them and getting them out that's been taking so long.
Mhm.
Already written. I'm sure some stuff will change during recording. However, they're done. I mean,
Like, it would have been really great to test out a lot more of the album material before we take it to studio, but
yeah, especially with like a lot of the changes we made to the EP. Like, if we could have played that live and seen the support for it, would have been nice. But
yeah, for sure. But new music is coming out, just pay attention. We're gonna make sure everybody knows that when we release our first single, it's gonna be called Haywire, and holy shit, it's a banger.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think we can all agree to that one.
yeah.
Like, I can say without a doubt, like, I really like everything that we write.
I agree entirely.
Like,
especially Turbo Dog.
That's
The
going to be on the single or the EP, but that's
after a lot of censoring, maybe that'll make
No, it's
a
not.
B-side CD.
Not going on anything.
Yo, Turbo Dog
Maybe
is gonna
one
be
day.
our anthem.
Maybe one day.
please don't do that.
Or
All right.
we can make it a legend.
A
Anyway,
legend.
yeah.
Why-
Everybody's gonna be like, "Where's Turbo Dog?" All right, so we'll be back next Thursday with "We Are Born" by Sia, "True Blue" by Madonna, "Ghost Reveries" by Opeth, and "Pure Heroine" by Lorde.
And I don't want to be another casualty. I'm trapped inside my head. I'm feeling numb.
Sorry, I totally forgot about this little side note, but really quick with Reign of Kindo. Reign of Kindo. So I meant to mention this when we were talking about them, but for anybody tuning in to round two or the second half of this call, Reign of Kindo got voted out. Understandable, that's fine. But the way that I found them, they were opening for Scale the Summit back in like 2010 in Southgate House down in Cincinnati, and just like stole the show like no band I've ever seen. Like you've got this two percussionists, a horn player, two guitarists, keyboardist, and bassist come out on stage and just lay down the sexiest jazz you've ever heard while I fucking love Cheese Zombie Game in 115. Gotta be up on this chat, yeah, bro.
I'm up on it.
But and then Scale the Summit comes out, and they were just like so sad compared to Reign of Kindo. So
Right, open for Scale.
yeah, have you ever listened to Scale the Summit? Like
No.
there's a reason they didn't make this top 20 list. Like they're good, they're really good, but
Where's Kindo based out of?
what?
Or is Reign of Kindo from Ohio?
They're based out of New York.